I actually lost my diploma for like the first 10 years. I got home, set it in like a drawer somewhere and forgot it. And I was actually looking for it and I didn't find it till I moved out of my house like 14 years after I graduated.
That's funny.
So I just found my degree like a year ago. I was like, oh my God, I actually have it. But no one's ever asked to see it in the music. You know what I mean? So, so some of that knowledge was cool. And I will say, and there were some great teachers and I did have a great time. But what's funny is that I had maxed out all of the music business classes that I could take as part of my minor, because I actually had a songwriting major with a music business minor, but half those classes overlapped. So I had ran out of classes that I could take to finish my minor, and I had to intern my last semester to get the last like 3 credits or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I was like kind of freaking out because like those internships were really hard to get because everyone wanted to intern at all these cool companies. And I was like, how am I going to do this? And I had a guy that lived a couple doors down from me who was working at Universal Publishing at the time. And I hit him up and I was like, hey, dude, I know this is like a Hail Mary. Like I hit him up in like mid-December looking for a January internship. And I was like, I know this is like terrible timing and you guys already have them. But I was like, do you know anyone that might need an intern? Because like, I don't think I'm going to be able to graduate. I'm going to have to like make up an internship to be able to graduate on time. And he was like, man, I just left Universal for this other company called Seagale. And he goes, honestly, I'm sure I can get you in. I was like, bro, that would be the greatest lifesaver of all time. So he talks to the VP over there and they were like, yeah, you know Freeman? Cool, you're in. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Oh, wow.
So I get this internship, show up, you know, like first, second week of January or whatever. And everyone's just cool, so cool. And they're like, I'm just starting to get to know these people doing whatever, like it's funny because some of the other places that I had like applied to intern for and didn't get them, they were like, all right, you're going to do data entry in a cubicle in the corner and you will never talk to anybody. And I was like, what am I going to learn? And they were like, I don't know. We basically just use you guys for slave work. I was like, this is terrible. I was like, why would I want this? So at this one, at the company Seagale, they were cool. And it was like, you printed CDs and like, did some odd, like if you had a car, they'd be like, hey, can you go to like Publix and like pick up a case of water? You know what I mean? It was just like the writers could use some waters, but like, it was pretty basic stuff that was like fun. And you actually got to, so anyway, about 2 weeks in, one of the VPs was like, hey dude, like we always listen to the interns' music just to be nice. If you got any demos or anything you want to show us, like we'll listen to a song or two and just like kind of critique it or, whatever, just like see how it goes. And I was like, oh sweet. So like literally like immediately I was like, I'm going to go print a CD and just keep it on me until the next time, it makes sense to be like, hey, check this out. And,
Smart
that was on like
right
a
there.
Tuesday. I think I interned Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So that was on a Tuesday, like my second week. On Thursday, he like walks by my desk and he's like, hey man, I wasn't kidding. If you got a CD, and I was like, got it.
Nice.
And he's like, well, okay, well shoot, pop in. He's like, I got time for like one song. I was like, okay. I had 7 on the CD, and he ended up listening to all of them. And he's like a classic music business thing where I'm in the little chair, he's behind his desk, and he like turns his chair back to face the speakers and like puts the CD in. Like,
that's like something out of a Scorsese movie.
Oh no,
right?
it was classic, dude. It was so classic. Mike, he's since passed away, but he was like the greatest dude ever. But puts it in, hits play, and like leans back in his chair, and then like he listens to all 7 songs, like without saying anything. And I'm like, I thought he only had time for one. I'm like, oh god, I'm like, what's happening? So he turns around and he goes, not gonna lie, way better than I thought it was gonna be. And I was like, okay. And he goes, you mind if I show some of the other people around the office this CD? And I was like, please, And that was it. And then like a week later, so that was on a Thursday. On Friday, a couple of people like came in and were like, hey dude, Mike showed me some of your tunes, they're pretty good. And I was like, oh shit. And like the next week, they called me like one night and they were like, hey, can you come in a little early tomorrow? And I was like, oh crap, I'm in trouble. And I walk in and they're like, you want a deal? And I was like, oh, so I was like a month into this deal, which is funny because when you were doing the intern thing, you had an advisor who you were like checking in with regularly. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember at what point the guy was like, hey man, like I feel like you're like kind of behind on your internship assignments, like your journal or some kind of thing. He's like, how's it going over there? And I was like, they just signed me. And he's like, what do you mean they just signed you? I'm like, they gave me a deal. And he was like, oh, dude, you get an A. You know what I mean? He's like, obviously you're doing good. I was like, sweet, God.
Hey, if you like that clip, give us a follow. You can also follow our main channel where we have the full podcast up there, as well as performances from each guest.